safety committee meeting on proposed changes up at the Lake Street parking lots. The reason it came before the safety committee is we've got a present one here, a proposed new one here to enter into this parking lot. The configuration of the parking lot might not be exactly that. There might be gravel around and a smaller asphalt area, just because to keep it under the 4,000 square feet. And this is
Why is the reason for that?
MS4.
Okay.
And then this is for the kayak. And what they're looking to do is a pseudo ramp here. And they're looking to put sand and gravel to actually create a ramp. Put 2 rocks in front so people don't drive down the ramp. This will be a parking lot, gravel probably, the size we don't know yet, but proposed entrance here versus that entrance. And then they're going to do, along here will be a sidewalk. But what we're concerned about are these and the safety getting in and out. And God forbid we have to put emergency vehicles in and out of there to rescue someone.
Well, these entrances are large enough. I mean, that just takes away really 2 parking spaces. I don't really see the reason to have them, but, I mean, if that's what they want.
That's what the DPW proposed and the powers that be suggested.
Yeah, well, it's,
Is that in addition to the entrances that are already there, so there would be 2 methods of,
Yep,
For this one.
yep.
And how about over here?
And this one would go in there.
So we're still gonna maintain
Yep.
that?
would they be one way in, one way out? In other words,
I don't think we've gotten that far. That would probably be a recommendation for this body.
I would definitely suggest if we're going with the second means of egress, that, you know, the existing access be the entrances, or either or, that one be exit only, entry only, because you're adding, not that it's tremendously busy there, but it can be, you know, on Saturday, Sunday afternoons. I would suggest that it be one way in, one way out, you know, if we're gonna go with 2. If that's,
And what would that cause as far as,
I agree with the chief. It's just that it means more signage and, you know, then someone's got to police it. I mean,
Yeah.
people are going to do what they want to do no matter what.
would that mean anything as far as this gravel driveway for that one coming in or out?
it's
No,
not
this is
highly
just-
traveled, there's two
yeah,
houses
there's
back
two
there.
houses,
Two
that's
houses
all.
back there. I mean,
If they're going to pave this, I actually think that I would just curve this out and paint the division. It's going to be less expensive, less signage, easier to patrol. It's you know,
I like the idea of one, I'll go with Mr. Marat, I do like the idea of maintaining one big driveway. I think if you add driveways, then you just add potential problems with when intersecting the road. You go from, 3 on and on, 3 intersections of Lake Street to 5 in that relatively short amount of time. I'm not aware of any issues that there would be entering and exiting the property now.
Plus you gain 2 more parking spaces.
And that entrance is pretty wide on its own.
This one, yeah. This one definitely would probably have to be widened a little bit, but not anything significant.
All right, so you're looking for one for each parking lot.
Well, at least for this one,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not sure what it is that they want to accomplish here, but myself, I kind of like the, the tree plantings and the grass area around.
Yeah, except people are driving all over it, and if you, when I went up there, it looked like people were doing donuts for fun and just tearing up all this grass.
Yeah, but I mean, you gravel the whole area, you're not gonna stop that. You
No.
just- Actually, you're almost kind of inviting it. Safety-wise, I don't see any issues. If that's what our call is, I would say that, what
But
they
both-
wanna do there is let them do.
But you're saying expand this one.
If they were gonna maintain one entrance, and we can get in there with vehicles, I'm not sure how we'd get in there with any, I mean, we've gone
Yeah,
in there
we-
before
yeah,
with
the-
trucks and whatnot.
Yeah.
Certainly there's
Well,
some
it's not
vehicles.
an issue. It's more, if that's gonna be the only one, you got somebody trying to come and go, I don't know if it's wide enough
Correct,
for
yes,
that.
yeah, I
Have two
agree.
vehicles side by side on that east side there.
Yeah, from the safety committee's point of view, from the safety side, it's not gonna, for the amount of traffic and the amount of, whether it be pedestrian or otherwise over there, the added egresses are not gonna make that much of a difference. It's just, I guess, personal preference, but Lake Street Committee, that's their call. They've been working on this for a
No.
little while, so,
It's a town's call.
okay. Well, their recommendation,
Because-
I'm not gonna get in a fight with the Lake Street Committee. over-
Because then we
over
have,
driving.
to convince New Bedford.
Right, so the consensus is widen this out. Divide. Right?
Well, we can do it with paint,
Right. Yeah, some sort of marker,
yeah.
And
and then do
signage.
away with this. Correct? Do away with this, the proposed.
That's, yeah, and
And
it's
you
too
get an
bad
extra parking space.
DPW's not here to explain the design, but if that's,
It also may be in regards to people that trailer, small boats or even canoes. It might be easier to have that second means of egress. I'm just kind of spitballing right now,
Mhm.
so you don't have to do turn
How
around with a trailer.
timely is this?
always, they would like to do the gravel here. As far as this, probably in the next couple months. This, we're looking to see, we have the funding for that.
Okay, so we have time to have Dan and I get back from vacation
Yep,
to explain to us the rationale
yep.
for those.
Unless it is, like you said, the Lake Street Committee's recommendation, and he's going with it, but I think other than for trailers, it would be simpler with one larger entrance and signage.
So this plan shows sidewalk here and here. And then why did they darken? Is that,
That's the new one.
but that's not there. There's no sidewalks here that I know of.
The sidewalk's here, right?
Well, there's one here, crosswalk to a sidewalk on this side, and then there's another one that shows there,
Yeah.
but they're not there. So I'm curious curious, I mean, this says proposed bituminous concrete sidewalk, 3.5 feet wide.
I know he's looking to build that.
Yeah, that's what this stone pile for.
Yeah.
He's gonna be
And
bolting all that
then there
stone.
was a discussion of whether we had another railing on the other side.
Well, this is showing it on this side of
Uh,
the street to protect people.
Yeah, on both, it would be on both sides of the sidewalk.
Oh, jeez.
That's just a discussion.
Yeah, right. You know, not having been part of that discussion, it's kind of hard to understand why they would want to do that. But
To stop people from going over the edge. And they still haven't got back to me on what they'd have to do to be ADA compliant.
Well, if the walkway's good and flat, and it's 3.5 feet wide, it's ADA compliant.
Okay.
I'm not even sure why they would have put a ramp here. I've never seen anybody, this pond,
Supposedly that's kayak.
I've never seen a boat in that pond.
There are here and there, yeah. There's,
I've seen small.
On this side,
Yeah, I've seen, you know, not a tremendous amount, but like kayaks, like small boats that you might,
Fish off of.
yeah.
there's fish in that side of the pond, I guess, then? Okay.
So what's the consensus? Wait to get more input from Dan before voting?
On the two, but we
On the
could,
proposed
we
new
could-
entrances?
we could probably price some of the things for, if we go with the one with signage, et cetera. And the sidewalk. So we'll have to reconvene when Dan gets back. I know New Bedford's encouraging us to stay under 4,000 square feet for the asphalt. And we're still waiting for the agreement to bubble up out of the solicitor's, new solicitor's office. It was number 30 when we met with Jamie Pott a couple of weeks ago. And he's got 30 of his.
Yeah, before that, the other 29 of his, right?
But he wants, I think he'd rather get rid of the whole thing. I think he'd rather give it to us for $1, but I don't know if the council and the mayor are there. And then we have to deal with the weed people and the chemicals. This is a bigger pond, right,
Yes.
than
Yeah.
that one?
Well, this
It's
one
hard to say.
continues
This one
way
goes-
out north.
Yeah.
all the way up to the Freetown line.
Oh, okay.
This one comes down to the dam, but this one's probably deeper than that one.
And this is the one they fish in, that's the one,
They fish in
Boating.
both.
there's no boat ramps for this one, though.
Private ones, but not
Private.
public.
Have we ever done any rescues in them?
We've trained, and usually when there is somebody in the water, it's here because of the turn. But I don't think we've had since those guardrails have gone up.
No,
I don't think we've had any cars going.
no, that seems to be the two north ponds.
Do you have problems with ice fishermen?
Just that they are ice fishermen who don't always use their best judgment on going out when it's the safest conditions.
Yeah, we've got a hovercraft in my town, just for that, well, for ice fishermen and for skaters who do not know how to read signs that say this
Right.
part is reserved for ice fishermen. Any other concerns or recommendations from what we see here?
I don't at this point, no.
Uh,
All right, what's next?
All right, I would like to bring up, the outdoor seating discussion. We only have 2 applications, one from Captain's Place and one from Rochelle's. So I had left you guys, emails about if you can give us a quick memo on it, so when the board, meets on the 1st, if, we have a little something to go by. Jim has already given us, his response. So I don't know, if you guys wanna do anything to let us know your thoughts on it.
So last year was year number 2, right?
Yes.
20, kind of like
20,
the summer of 20,
21.
and then
Yep,
last year as well.
yes.
Any big red flags?
We haven't had any. I think my only concern is the first application that we've gotten. The Captain's Place is different because they have parking on the street, people use it on the side street. There isn't any at Rochelle's, and the parking that he should have is really behind, and he's blocked the back completely off. I think outdoor dining is a nice thing for the general public, but, it's also my obligation to make sure that parking requirements are met. And of course, you have outside seating, you're increasing your seating capacity. He doesn't have the seating, he doesn't have the parking now because he's blocked off the back completely, so. I hate to see them, the guy who runs the restaurant is not the owner of the building, and he's the one who's gonna get hurt.
But Captain's Place is okay?
Yeah, because Captain's Place, they pick up probably 2 parking spots, but they have the parking on the side street.
Yeah, I didn't get a diagram with the Captain's Place. I'm assuming it's the same footprint as it was last year. I mean,
Yeah.
from the description, it sounded like the same
Yes.
thing. And it was the shared area between there and,
In the mill.
In the mill, yeah.
She didn't give us one this year.
but
And I think I forgot, looking at the application, they're not gonna do as many tables as they did the last time.
it seems smaller from
It's
what you.
only gonna
yeah.
be like 3 to 4 tables, I believe, where last time they had about 8, maybe 8.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's only gonna be 3 or 4, like in that small area.
But we don't know if it's the same area.
I believe it's the same area, like, but so
The
the when they.
description sounds like the same, but
Yeah.
there's not like a little sketch.
Okay, so you want feedback before the June 1st meeting, the Friday before for the
Yeah.
books, okay.
Thursday before.
Thursday.
Then I can ask, Captain's Place to give me something, like, something else. Because she did say, I think she told me it was 3 to 4 tables,
Yes.
but they didn't do the dive-in.
It just says it's same location, but downsized, so that, what was there last year wasn't an issue, so I would assume them downsizing what was there would be an
Right.
issue to me anyhow.
Okay.
In the past, once other establishments put up open air outside dining, do then more establishments apply for it, or is this it?
Yeah, we'll probably get the VFW, because I know they wanna start doing car shows again like they did last time, and they had, some outdoor seating for the car show. At VFW,
Rivers End did it during the pandemic, but
she didn't do it last
she didn't
year.
do it last year, yeah.
Ponderosa, what are they gonna do with?
Ponderosa, he
They have
always.
an area,
Yeah,
they have the
they
area tucked away.
have their area, and it's it's in the back, it's not even,
No,
you know,
it's
it's
not
just like
visible.
the
Yeah, it's
tables.
just on the grass area.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't- yeah.
It hasn't been an issue in the last few years at all.
Trying to think of who else.
Would it make sense for us to contact them
Sure.
and see if they're going to do it, and then maybe we can do it as one package?
Sure, I think that makes sense. I mean, I think the Ponderosa area, he's got the tables there. I almost think he would just kind of continue to carry on, and they have plenty of parking up there. You know, it's just a big wide open parking area, so I don't see any issue with that. I don't see any issue with the VFW. You know, they have a big area of parking between two streets. I wouldn't see any issue with that either.
Yeah, so who else was?
And even though Legion doesn't do it, they're under the same boat. They just have a huge parking area.
Right, and then JT's has no parking area, so he can't do it anyway.
Yeah.
Blue Point never never wanted to be in that, because they have a limited parking space too. I mean, even though they have off-street parking, but they didn't want anything to do with it.
It's a new owner, right?
Well, there will be a new
Yes.
owner, but I don't think that's going forward. I mean, she just got her, ABCC just approved their liquor license transfer. They should be doing their motions to, to transfer everything else and do that.
Do they have any entertainment?
No. And what other?
Blue Lantern?
Blue
They've
Lantern.
done it. Yeah, they haven't done it. But
No, they didn't do it. I think she wanted to, but at the end it was like, what are they gonna do over there? I mean, they have enough, I would assume they have enough
A lot of
parking,
parking.
but lately they don't, because I'll tell you, when I drive by on a Saturday or a Sunday, at night, people are parking at Scuttlebutts because there's an overflow of parking. But they like Scuttlebutts would be closed.
Right.
So he must have made an agreement with them
Yeah.
that they could let people park over there, so.
So they're walking from the Lantern to Scuttlebutts.
All right.
All right, I got one more. Speeding signs and handicap signs. So I have this person who, she's on Morse's Lane, and I know, Chief, Richmond, I've talked to you a couple of times, I think, about Morse's Lane.
Yeah, I actually, I was looking at the what you had forwarded from her, and we actually, beginning of April of this year, after these, since these emails have been sent to you,
Alright,
April of this year, we responded. There was another person that made a complaint about a specific person that lived down the end of the street. One of the officers went over there and located the suspected offender, had a conversation with him. Ironically, maybe 4 or 5 days after that, I spoke to Nicole on another matter, and she brought this up, and I explained to her what had just happened, and in regard to that, we have not received a speeding complaint since then. Doesn't mean it hasn't happened. We haven't received a complaint since the beginning of April, and the person that was being complained about, so to speak, was seemed receptive, and it was addressed with him. Now, the conversation I had further with her was regarding signage, regarding speed signs. She brought up, posted at 15 miles an hour, and I explained to her that it can't just be posted 15 miles an hour. It'd be like special legislation, and she brought up another street in town that has a 15-mile-an-hour speed limit sign, which I'm aware of, but that's been there for as long as I've been on the job, 20 years, 25 years or better. It was put up by the contractor. It's technically like an illegal sign. We're not gonna write anybody for going 25 and a 15, in a residential area. So I did explain that to her. Now, as far as like signage, we run into the same thing where the fundamental speed law for that area, unless it's posted otherwise, is, would be 30 miles an hour. We could drop it down to 25, I guess, through legislation or through agreement with the selectmen. But even on that road, I would suggest that maybe it's more, care and caution is what you need to exercise over there. So we did talk about the possibility of children playing signs or slow children signs. I believe there is one there, but it's aged out, so that might be an option, at either end of Slocum. I'm jumping ahead. I'm jumping ahead. At either end of Morse's Lane, both inbound and outbound up by the,
Hunter.
Yeah, when you come off of Hunter over there, 'cause I mean, at the end of the day, that is a narrow road, but the road is the road there.
Yeah, it's a go nowhere road. I'm surprised that they actually had, speeding down there. It was just the residents, but.
It just, yeah. And if somebody's going down at it, to be honest with you, if somebody's going down that road at 25, 30, it's while it might not be letter of the law, might not be speeding, could be deemed unsafe.
Seems fast, though.
It does seem fast. So I guess in some, I did have a conversation with her maybe about a month and a half ago, both her and another neighbor. I mean, I guess so the one thing we would probably look to do would be the slow children signs, replace the one that's there and one on either end. That would
Okay.
perhaps help and remind neighbors of other neighbors' concerns.
And that's DPW?
Yes, I'll ask Kathy. I'll mention it to Ian and ask if they have any. If not, they can order 2.
Yeah, I would say one. I'd have to see whether I don't recall exactly what the existing one is. Maybe we move it a little further closer
Okay,
to Middle Road. But I'll take a look over there. I'll take a ride over there.
okay. And then the only other one I have is, the DPW got a call from an owner on Nye Avenue, and they're looking for a handicap sign. And we verified that the person is handicapped that lives at the particular location. So I didn't know if you wanted to take a look at it and see if it's feasible to put one there. I'm not familiar with Nye Avenue, so I don't know.
This is to reserve a parking spot?
Yes.
Is there no off-street, or is it?
That I don't know, like I said, I'm not familiar with Nye Avenue, so I don't know. But Kathy, we have, the handicapped person lives there, so I don't know if there is off-street parking or not.
So that one's gonna be investigated.
Yeah, I would say it is.
Did you give an address?
38.
Is that no? That's across the street from the other issue that we've. Yeah. That's not this. Yeah, that's not the same address.
Are the signs working on Slocum?
No, that was, I kind of jumped the gun when I said Slocum Street below. As you know, I was on vacation till Thursday of last week, so we have the software downloaded onto the laptop, we have the cable, which is a matter of getting out there and programs. With those signs, you have to direct connect to the unit, so I'll get out there in the next couple of days with one of my guys, and we'll hopefully get those to where they should be. Like a lot of things, you buy them and they talk about programming and they don't explain
The details.
the detail on how to do it. And the one disadvantage was, well, I should say we weren't misled. We certainly weren't. The only other sign that we had at the time, we had a cloud subscription and we could program it remotely. So when we read the directions for this sign, it seemed like it was, press A, hold B, 3 seconds, and that wasn't the case. So live and learn, but we do have the.
Call the Geek Squad.
Yeah.
Find yourself a 14-year-old.
Yep.
You know this stuff like the back of the hand.
So we should be, hopefully, knock on wood, this week we should have those, because we have everything we need to get them. Once they're programmed, they should be self-sufficient. We may reposition the one that's on the west end of Slocum Street, a little further west, but for now, let's get them up and running and see what they do, and then maybe make a decision to move that, talk to the DPW, get a poll, but right now, that's, first things first, get them up and running.
All right.
In regards to signage, if you don't mind, if I bring this up, and this is something to be for Dan and Kathy, when the selectmen took the committee's recommendation to post the signs, the no parking signs on Main, I think there's gonna be a need for another sign, and Dan and I had talked about this. They would put them kind of where they saw fit, so we didn't have a sign every 50 feet. But certainly on the west side, Dayton, between Dayton and Hill, there's one no parking sign, but it's right by the where the crosswalk's gonna be. But it just says no parking. We're either gonna have to change that to no parking on the side of the street, or get a second, or get a second sign that would be a little further west, heading toward Dayton Street, because it's a car that's, a vehicle that's parking there that technically would be in violation, but the signage isn't. I wouldn't feel comfortable issuing a citation with the signage the way it is right now. But that's that last area where,
Right.
which has been the source of complaints for a number of years.
But that, we don't need to go back to the board on that.
No, because the board had already authorized Dayton Street to Main Street between Dayton and Hamlin.
So it's just a question.
Just a signage of coordinating.
Ordering the sign.
Yes.
When I typed it, I will do that.
Good. Are we done?
I'm done.
Are we done? Any other issues?
Well, I have an issue that, it's not really an issue yet, but it has been in the past, which is, we've received really information from Dunkin Donuts that they want to change their entrance in and out. And to me, it makes perfect sense. The only issue, of course, is that in the past, it was hugely controversial. And I guess I just kind of wanted to know from this board what their feelings might be, because I know at some point in time, they will be asked. So even if we don't bring it up for discussion now, if, you guys just want to think about it.
What exists now?
Well, now it enters and exits the exact same location.
Comes in on South Main, goes around.
Comes back up. And of course, what happens then is the parking area that is here really becomes problematic, because, it just becomes severely congested if somebody's coming around the corner and somebody's trying to back out. What they want to do now, which is what they originally wanted to do, is to come out onto Hope Street and come back out. The entrance is there. I don't even think it needs a curb cut, but I think he just wants to build off the back of the building, so that rather than the
window being
window
here.
being here, it'll be there.
And what was the objection in the past?
It was
A drive-through was the original objection, a drive-through.
Well, first we had.
First it was Dunkin' Donuts,
Right,
yeah.
and then it was a drive-through.
How long have they been there? Because I've been here for 15 years, and it was before I even
Yeah.
started, so
Yeah.
about 20
Yeah,
years.
it's 2002.
So they have a drive-through, and you're saying they're just looking to relocate.
Right.
And access the exit, I guess, would be
Yeah.
onto Hope Street.
And what's there now? That was a
Sidewalk
check.
with mulch and rock,
Yeah.
and there is no curb where they want to put the exit.
No, but
Houses.
houses
Yeah.
are on
Across
the
the
other
street.
side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
across the street.
And that was,
Multifamily on the corner.
and parking on the street,
That's the garage.
A garage and mixed
Right.
Yeah.
uses.
and parking off-street or on-street parking.
Off-street on both sides, right?
Mhm.
Which makes it a little problematic.
Yeah. Yeah, that turn would be interesting. Is it one-way or two-way street?
Two.
It's
Two-way
two-way
street.
street.
So if there was any kind of incident, the fire truck
Yeah.
couldn't get down, the
Yeah,
ambulance
we
couldn't
might
get
have
down
to,
there.
no parking on this side.
Or which side? The side with dunks,
Yeah.
which would affect dunks, that would be there.
Right. In a lot of the, currently, a lot of the employees park there. A lot of folks will, instead of turning into the parking lot, will
Just park
park
there.
there and run in.
Yeah, because it's difficult, yeah, like you say, it's difficult to get in and out that same entrance. I mean, it's wide enough, but you get a vehicle coming out of Dunkin Donuts that wants to take the left and go south on South Main Street, especially during the peak hours,
Mhm.
that causes,
Yep.
you know, backup both ways.
And just one other, because it's gonna be a change,
We'd have to.
we
hold
already
it.
experience in the morning
Thank-
backlog onto South Main Street of people coming in from both directions. Right, so the traffic will slow, if not completely stop. And that's with one, maybe two extra cars going off to the side. But we're gonna lose the now by
So
having
the
a
queue
window there.
becomes less.
Right,
I took a look at that.
right, the queue becomes shorter, which will force cars out during that
Yeah,
peak time.
the queue really becomes one car short,
It's one,
yeah. I would have thought it was two, but, you know, when I went to take a look at
Yeah.
it, it's, because of the curve, it's really just one car less.
so I have a new pet peeve, and I was able to really realize it this morning. It's just personal action. When folks are queued up, if they tightened it up a little,
Yeah,
you get these folks off the street.
right.
But there's often, folks are on the phone, so there's two car lengths empty while they're,
Hmm.
responding to something.
Or trying
That's
to,
human nature.
trying to access the app to
Yeah.
pay. So that's not in yet, but you say it's coming in.
Well, I had to send them to the zoning board because they received a special permit to put it in to begin with, and that was the deal. And then there was a lot of discussion, and they had a traffic study done. And the traffic study basically concluded that it would create no difference whether they went either way. But there was some people, I guess, who just didn't want it to go onto Hope Street.
And that traffic study was 2002,
Yeah.
so traffic probably has changed in the interim.
Well, since the pandemic, I actually don't remember, as I was never paying that much attention, I think, but prior to the pandemic, I never really saw cars queuing into South Main Street. I think they just did a booming business, of course, at the time too, the lobby was closed. And I've noticed the same thing at other Dunkin Donuts. But even though things have eased up now, you do still see people waiting to queue into.
The, and it comes from both ways,
Slocum Street's right away.
yeah. And then Slocum Street will be a conduit for the Church Street station.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Chief, Slocum's further down, isn't it? Yeah, Slocum
Yeah.
Street's further down. Slocum Street would be over here. Hope Street This-
Hope is there.
is there, yeah, because that's where the guy jumped the curb and hit the bollards and,
Oh, yeah.
But if people are coming out of here and then they're going down there,
They're coming this way, they're coming this way,
that,
and then they also have the ability to come up this way.
but is Slocum's two-way? And this is gonna be one of the ways to get to Church Street when it opens?
Yeah, because you go Slocum to Wood Street all the way up to Church.
Yeah.
So people are gonna get their coffee and then gonna be looking, so you've got two potential bottlenecks coming down the pike.
well, Slocum Street can be a bottleneck
Mm.
at any point in time.
But if it's one of the main drags to get to Church Street when that opens up,
Yeah, I don't know, I mean, I haven't seen any kind of a traffic study for that particular use.
Serpent's just starting to do them.
Yeah.
But I know Jamie Pont said that the numbers they're getting for usage of Church Street might be problematic for us.
But will it affect Slocum? I mean, that many people,
Yeah.
it's something we really don't know.
But he was talking from what the MBTA was telling him, and they're expecting other towns to come through here, whereas people might go to Middleborough, Lakeville now, they're gonna come to Church Street. I don't know. Middleborough, Lakeville is a lot shorter ride to Boston than Church Street.
Yeah, it is, and, you know, it's funny, until I started working here at Acushnet, I would never drive this way to come anywhere, so I could see that if there's some people in town, you know, who wanted to take that trip, but I would think for the most part, people would go north. But I also know that we had discussions with the MBTA when they opened up the Lakeville station. And we told them, we said, the parking lot's not big enough. And they said, oh yeah, all our indications tell us that that'd be enough parking for 2 years. The day it opened, people were parked in the street because the lot was full. So a lot more people are gonna use it than I think probably they know or realize, but I would think most of them would be coming from Acushnet Avenue going south. I don't know about here, but
I know South Attleboro, Mansfield, and Sharon, all of the parking lots are totally undersized,
Yeah.
where in a number of cases now they've got off-site parking.
So then what do? They have to take a shuttle back and forth?
No, I mean, it's
No.
walkable, but
Oh.
it's not the area, and there's private lots too, but it's not around, it's not owned by the T or the town. So, yeah, I agree with you on, they totally undersize their
Yeah.
estimates. All right, so that's coming down the pike. Everything else, the chief's gonna check on some things, and then we're going to wait for Dan and Kathy.
Yep, we'll soon, we'll
So, next
take
week,
another meeting, should be good. I will do that. And Chief, just one other thing.
Yes.
The, no parking sign. Do you want to say no parking or no parking this side?
Well, considering that area is narrow, there's already one sign right by the crosswalk that says no parking. I think
Yeah.
if we put one, it would be best if both signs say no parking this side of the street, but we could probably get by with a no parking sign,
Okay.
you know, maybe about, 10 or 12 feet off of Dayton on Main. In that area, kind of split the difference, because that one sign is obviously there for the crosswalk. And then you have kind of an area that has kind of like no man's land, so to speak.
but are they on both sides of the street too?
What's that, the signs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know from talking to Dan, he, as I said, didn't want to get into putting signs up like if he didn't have to, every like 50 feet, to like overkill.
Yeah.
So he put them out, spread them out as best he could. And then it's gonna be one of those types of things where you kind of see where, when you build new construction, you see where the footpaths go, and then that's where you put the walkways. Well, we're gonna see where the areas are that we need additional signs. We may need them, a little further north too. When you get up in the area of like Pope Park and Jason's, we might need some signage there. But I'll take a look, just based on increase, the summer months, so to speak, so we'll take a look at that.
Yeah, because just today, we're being nice and warm and everything.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Acushnet Creamery was nuts, and they were parking, some people were parking at the animal,
Yeah,
vets.
and we've never received a complaint from them, that's, I think there's a crosswalk right there as well, but the problem, is gonna come into, which has happened in the past, although it wasn't 100% contributed to the parking there, was you have the cars parking on both sides and people crossing. You know, you kind of step out, you know, you're like,
Right.
you know, even if the car's not going that fast, you step out, you're not paying attention.
Yeah,
So we're gonna have to probably address that. So I'll take a look at that. I'll put that in.
okay.
I'll put that in a quick memo to you guys.
When you post a no parking sign pertains to everybody, right?
Yes.
Including Amazon and FedEx and,
Well, yeah, you know, yeah, UPS on South Main. Yeah, it's if they're there in and out. Yeah. Can we catch them?
yeah, no, I
you know,
understand, yeah.
All right, we good?
We're good.
I'm good.